So this week marks the week that I left my home that I shared with my husband at the time, after I found out pretty much, or he confessed that he was married in Nigeria. So for like maybe October, November, December, January, February, January. So for about like 4 months, I had noticed, and this was like 2021. So like in 2020, I noticed my husband becoming like very distant, always on the phone, like just weird, like it's just like he was talking to another woman, like not giving me any attention, like barely, like he had nothing for me. And at first I was like, oh, trying to be understanding, like he's going through a lot. He was preparing for residency and just like a lot of stuff that we was trying to go through. And I kind of just kept shrugging it off like October, November, December. And then in January, I had a dream. January of 2021, I had a vision or a dream that he was preparing for a traditional marriage with a light-skinned nurse. And I just thought that was so strange. And I didn't tell him. Now, usually I would tell him all of my dreams that I have all the time, because he was super spiritual and deep, and he couldn't interpret my dreams. And that's one of the things that I liked about him. So I didn't tell him that dream. And then the next day, I saw like in Facebook, they have like people you may know. I saw the woman's face, and I saw that they knew each other. And so I was like, who is this woman? And he just kind of was like, oh, it's just an old colleague, like nothing. And so over maybe the course of that, from January to May, he was having an emotional affair with his wife or fiance. I mean, it wasn't that he was having an affair, because that's who he was really, like, who he loved. But he was being very more careless about him, like exposing it, or like, hiding. Oh, he was more careless about hiding it. So I just started having more and more dreams about him, like talking to different women, him cheating. Like these dreams was just getting so clear and so concise, down to like the text messages that he was sending and receiving. It was driving me crazy. And I'm that person, like, if God is showing me something over and over again, I tend to not think that it's just by happenstance. So I started to ask him, like, what's going on? And of course he was lying. I mean, I would tell him verbatim, like, you said this to somebody. And no, it was just like excuse after excuse. So at the time, he wasn't working because he had just got his green card. When I would ask him why was he so distant and like just so preoccupied, he would tell me it was because he wasn't working. And so what did I do? I wanted to fix it and just be super, supportive. So I started looking for him a job. This grown 30-something-year-old man couldn't find his own job. And I just was like, oh, well, he's, a foreigner. He doesn't know the system, so I'll find him a job. So I ended up finding him a job at a place that I used to work at, which was a huge mistake. Because then this man started cheating with the people at his job and was texting them inappropriate things. And so at this job, like, it was a hospital, so you could work like as many times as you could be there all day, every day. And in true African fashion, he is a, hard worker. So he definitely was working as many hours as he could, because we were also planning. So his residency, I think, was going to start in like July of 2021. So we were going to move. Like, he was applying to a few different places out of state. And so up until like that point, I was moving with him. So we were, going to stack and save our money so we could move together, right? Then he came out of nowhere and was like, I don't think you should move with me. You should stay here and let me go for 6 months, and then you will join me in January. And that never sat well with me, because I was like, what's the issue? Like, and he wasn't spending time with me. He wasn't doing anything that a husband would do. Now, at this point in time, we had been married for 2 years. And so it just was a huge disconnect. I always thought he was trying to bring someone else with him for like 6 months and then let me come later. So He was talking to women in Africa, talking to his wife, talking to women in Detroit. Who else knows? Like, God knows where else. We never really bonded as husband or connected as husband and wife because, one, we didn't really know each other. We met in September. We got married in October 2018. And then he was very preoccupied with his studies. This man studied for like 23 hours at a day. And I was working 3 jobs because I thought I had to hold him down to support him, to get him to his dream of being a doctor in the U.S. And then that he would in turn take care of me as the loving wife that I was, to be so gracious as to almost myself to provide for our family, because I thought that's just what I had to do as a woman. And so when he started working, he was barely home, barely talking to me, always on his phone, always texting, calling other women. And so that began to become a real problem. So me being who I am, I started going through his phone. But he was real crafty. So he would hide and delete stuff. And then he had another phone that I didn't know about. But one time he dropped his phone in the car. And I cracked that code, child. I think I had to reset his phone. Like, it was so much I had to do to get through that phone. But when I got through that phone, I just started seeing everything that I was dreaming about. Pictures, these text messages, and the wife texted and was like, I guess she knew to only talk to him at a certain time because I was starting to get on to them. So she would text him while he was at work. Like, I guess that was their schedule. So I had this phone while he was at work, so she texted. And like, she was just like, you work too much, and when we stay together, you're not going to be working that much. I'm going to make sure of it. And I was like, when y'all stay together? So that just sent me. So I messed up. Instead of playing it cool and letting her let the whole scenario play out. So I called her and I was like, why are you texting this to my husband? And she was like, oh, we are not boyfriend and girlfriend. We just act like we are. I was like, stop texting my husband. Like, getting mad at the girl when this situation totally different because they was in on it together. Like, they came together and they was leaving together. But, we get so mad at the other woman when it's really the man that made the commitment to me. So, let's go back to how I met him. I met him on a dating site. And prior to that, so like, I met him in 2018. I believe in 2017, I got 2 prophecies saying that I was going to get married really quickly. And I thought it was going to be this guy that I've been in love with for 10 years. And it's a shame to even say. I'm sad to say it. But I always thought I was going to marry this guy, but it wasn't him. Still not him. And so in my mind, I forged it would be somebody new. And so I just have been praying, and I wanted to be married so bad. Like, that desire for marriage just got real pertinent in my life, to where I was just kind of obsessed about being married. And so I had met somebody who I thought was my husband because I had a dream about him, but it turned out he wasn't. And so right after that, like, I was kind of crushed. So after that little separation, I joined a dating site, and for some reason, I just thought I was going to marry a doctor. And I thought God was telling me I was going to marry a doctor. And I was kind of like fighting God. Like, I don't want to marry a doctor. Like, I want somebody hip and who might have been a rapper. Like, girl. So, on his profile, he was like, Nigerian doctor. He was like, I'm so close to God. So, the woman I'm looking for a wife, and she has to be, saved and close to God. So, I was like, okay, well, I'll go on a date with him. Let's just see what he's talking about. So on this date, we went to Fishbones in Detroit in Greektown. He basically was like, God said you was my wife. Are you ready to be married? I wasn't nowhere ready to be somebody's wife because I wasn't preparing. But I wanted to be married. And in my situation at home, I needed something else. Like, I felt like I needed some type of other. So I basically left that day engaged. And it felt weird, but it felt like, well, those prophecies that said I was going to be married really quick, maybe this was it. I wasn't connected to God. I wasn't connected to a spiritual family. Like, my family was in a disarray, so it felt like the right thing to do at the time. And now that I look back on it, I know I shouldn't have did it, but
Hey guys, what's up beautiful people? It's your girl Nadia Official. Now people, first and foremost, me not gonna stop nobody from believing a love at first sight or believing a destiny or all of them something they are dreams and premonitions say God I go send your husband come and this and that. Me not stop nobody from believing at that. Believe in whatever you guys want to believe. But for me personally, if me go on a first date with a man and the man proposed to me on that first date, me I go take it as a red flag. That's just me. Because me not see what a man can know about me in our first date that is going to make such a lifelong commitment to me. That to me is a red flag. Worse if the person is an immigrant without papers. That's a double whammy of a red flag there so. An immigrant without papers is a man or a woman in a desperate position. Them a look them papers. So anybody them find for marry them or propose to and who willing to accept that, them go and gravitate towards that. So any immigrant propose to anybody on a first date, it's a red flag. And for me personally, any man period point blank or woman period point blank propose on a first date, it's a red flag. People make me know how you feel about it in the comment section. Big up on yourself out there, people who don't know this is on girl Nadia Official. Always keep things real. Always keep things official. Big up on yourself. Thanks to each and every one of you guys who take time out of your busy schedule to watch a video for me. Thank you for the likes, the comments, the shares, and the DM messages. Big up on yourself. And to all of my top supporters, them with the bad side I want to name, a big shout out to each and every one of you. And to all of the people them who subscribe and don't know, gratitude is a must, humbleness is a must. Big respect to uno out there. Big up on yourself out there. Uno don't know, so the YouTube channel is there and it's called Naked with Nadia. The Facebook is there and it's called Naked with Nadia Unfiltered. The Instagram and the TikTok is called Nadia_official_FR. Uno do the right thing, like up all of the platform, and please, 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 and thank uno. Uno know say big respect to each and every one of uno, and uno free to comment anything uno want to comment. No comment has ever been deleted. But me know how I feel about this one, because to me listen to the story and me see a whole heap of red flag in there. More than one, but that is the major one I just list right here so. But me want to see if uno can figure out more red flags, because me I tell you no, boy, this story is very intriguing. Yeah, right there so. Bless up on yourself out there, people. Peace. I'm out. Bye.